India, and I finished my undergraduate in 2015 from NIT Silchar. And after graduating from NIT Silchar, so my undergraduate degree was on electronics and communication engineering. So after that, I was working in uh, a defense sector of India for around 3 years.
Hmm.
And after spending around 2 years there, I figured that I should have either gone for an MBA or should have gone for graduate studies. So the next 1 year, I was trying to decide what should I go for. So in the meantime, I found out that for going to an MBA kind of profile, a person has to be very uh, willing to speak in a public situation and has to be willing to be in public scenarios all throughout the day. So I figured that might not be a very suitable thing for me to do. And anyways, I was inclined towards some kind of research activity right from my undergrad. And I had been publishing papers with my advisors from my third year itself. So doing a PhD was always in the hindsight that I was not sure, but I was not averse to the idea of doing a PhD. And I started applying for PhDs after the second year. In my first attempt, I didn't get any good seats in any good universities. But in my third attempt, I got a fully funded seat from Virginia Tech to do my PhD here. So in 2018 of August, I came to the US to do my PhD in wireless communications. And from there on, I have been mostly working on wireless communications, and my specific field is on vehicular communication, whereby, so mostly when people talk about vehicular self-driving cars, the focus is more on where every vehicle has a camera and it tries to find its own path. But the way we approach the problem is where we assume that each vehicle has a communication ability so that they can communicate with the other cars. So we are trying to approach the automation of vehicles in a different approach. And that's what has been my research for the past 2, 3 years. And that right now, as I'm kind of in the middle of my PhD, so I have to decide on what's next for me, assuming I graduate in the next 2, 3 years. So I have to make it. So once I come to this stage, so the stakes are quite high on what I need to do. If I need to go for academia, the approach is entirely different. And if I decide to go for industry, I have to approach it in a different way. So these are some of the broad, so this thing that what I should be doing next and what I should be approaching it. This is what I wanted to discuss it with you.
Okay, got it, got it. So let me ask you, give me, like, if I given you a choice, this what you would like to do, given you a choice,
Choice, I definitely go for industry.
where?
Any so
No, no, I say where means industry back home, industry here,
here I
and what kind of industry? Like, give me a list of one or two companies and the profile that would say, oh, if I can get this, this would be the best thing that can happen to me.
Yeah, for me, based on what I have seen, people of my profile, they go to companies like Samsung, Qualcomm, Ericsson,
Hmm.
and getting a job there, I think would definitely be a dream role for me.
Okay, got it. Okay, so I understand now. So, and I'm assuming you are looking for a job in US too, right?
Right.
More, okay.
Right.
So, Biplav, a couple of things. I think what you just mentioned, right? Looking for a job in US in a companies like IBM, let's say Intel, Samsung, Apple, and all those, right? I don't think once you finish your PhD, it would be a hard sell for you to find a job there. I don't think that will be a problem. Just to let you know, I don't think that will be a problem at all, considering what university you are coming from and the work you told me, and looking at your publication, I'm pretty sure you are very knowledgeable in that area. So I don't think that would be a problem at all. Okay. I don't think for you to worry about immigration and thinking about Canada or all that matter, no matter what, would be a problem at all, because you have a PhD, and in US, even worse come to worse times, a student who is from India with a PhD has a higher chances of immigration too.
I
So
see.
that's not a problem too. Okay, so I don't think you should think about going to Canada or something else. At that's what I'm just going through your questions in the meantime.
Right.
Um, but I would definitely tell you this, if that this is what you were thinking or gearing towards, having an internship will help you a lot, no doubt, a lot. And many times what happens, I mean, that happened to me, that my professor didn't allow me to do an internship because he wants me to do more
Yeah,
work,
I've seen
right?
that. Right.
Right. So, and that happens. But as I said, if your professor is okay with that, and if you can convince him or her, I would definitely say that, if let's say you have done internship in Apple, if you have done internship at IBM, whatever, I would definitely say that your chances of getting over there finding a job was is very high.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it is. So try to convince your advisor, whatever way possible. I know a lot of my friends who have done that and were able to find a job like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Otherwise, you will be one of those students who are like, oh, I have graduated, now I have to look for a job,
Exactly. Exactly.
right? Yeah. So you will be in that boat. And most of them actually find a job that way. But the easiest one are the, I won't say the smarter ones because that's not your decision that you have to decide on, right? But the smart choice would be, as I said, to do an internship and then go. Definitely.
Right. Right.
Right.
Internships also allow us to align our research more towards what's being done in the industry.
Yeah, I don't think too much on that.
Okay.
That's where the professor worry about, actually, that you are not going to do your work and you're going to be do something else, which I agree.
Exactly. Right.
Which I agree, because you will be doing something else totally, unless and until, many times what happened, you work on an industry funded project. Let's say, for example, I was doing my PhD with which was funded by General Motors,
Mm,
and for me doing an internship over there probably makes sense because I would be doing the same thing in the
same.
same department, in the same with the same people.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you find something like that, then your professor are more likely say yes. But if it is not, then I understand their point, because then you're gonna come back after 3 months and you're like, what was I doing? And they don't like it.
Right.
Yeah. And so I understand that, especially if they are already funding you in some funded
Exactly.
projects and they have reports to do and all that. So even if you are a professor, you won't do it. Trust me.
Yeah. I
So I
understand
don't.
that point of
Yeah.
view, but also because I need to make contacts and know what's going on in the industry. So
Yeah,
it
but as I told you, when you are there doing your PhD, your professor job is to make sure you are doing your PhD right way, not to think of, okay, he where he can find a job. That's how it doesn't work.
right.
And as I said, if you were them, you will do the same. So trust
I
me.
I agree. I agree.
As I said, that would be something that would help you. But uh, as I told you also, because I can't put a number, but let's say 90% of PhDs, that's how they find their job too. So I found the job that's way. So, it's not like I have to go to an internship. I didn't do, my professor didn't allow me to. So, that's what it is basically.
I see.
So I would say that would be the smart thing to do, but it's not gonna make you or break you. That's all I'm saying. It will make your job easier, but at the same time, I can tell you is it depends on when you graduate, what situation it is, because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was not able to find any job, to be honest with you. After I finished my PhD, I had like one or two interviews maximum. And I was thinking, because we used to work with GM so much, I thought that I might find a job there. But that was 2008. The market crashed. The
Yeah.
whole auto industry was on tail, right? So again, it also depends on where you are in that scenario.
Yes. 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 I see.
So again, as I said, that's what I'm saying. I don't put too much thought on it because a lot of the students, that's how they find the job.
I agree. That's what I've been getting.
Especially if you are a PhD, masters people, yeah, they allow. They say do whatever you want because because most of the time professors are not funding them anyway, so they have to find somewhere.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. As far as your other question is concerned, that you are highly specialized and
Yeah.
you are not able to reject, and I don't buy that shit. That's not at all true. I don't know who are those people who say that. I go with my example, And a lot of time people say, oh, why your CV is 5 pages, it should be 2 pages. I don't buy that either. I strongly believe that being a PhD student, your resume has to look like a PhD student. It should have more in it. Your resume can't be 1 page or 2 page like a undergrad or a master's. So what's the point of doing a PhD? It has to be more. It has to contain more value. It
Okay.
has to speak the volume. And trust me, those are the only companies you want to work also. You understand my point? You can't work for a shop down there who are making who are doing something lame work, which
I get the point. Yeah. Yeah.
right. So as I told you, it's not true at all. The people who they give that advice, I don't buy that. I have never done that and have been very successful. I have never done it, never ever. My CV is 10 pages all the time because I want you to tell people that I have done so much work. And if you don't like that, I don't want to work with you. And trust me, whenever I have done it, I have never gone a wrong experience. Like why this CV is 10 pages? Nobody say that.
Mm,
I mean, it's bad for you if you don't have a 3 page CV or you can't elaborate that, but doesn't, how about a person who has done so much work? I'm not saying like you put 100 publications there. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if your CV can speak volume,
right. Right.
and then what's the point of not telling that because you have invested so much work, right?
Yes. Yes.
So like one of the good example is how your CV can be like 4 or 5 pages. Like there are sometimes they ask that question too. Like okay, you write your education, you write your details about your little bit details about a PhD. Let's say if you got some awards, you write that. You are involved in some societies, you write that. You tell them about outreach program. You tell about patents you have written. You have tell about your publications you have written. Let's say undergrad, no patents, no publications, no education. Of course, that CV will be 1 pages, right? And let's say a PhD is not able to write that more than 2 page CV. That means there is something wrong that the person did not do.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I don't buy that thing. Don't never listen to those people.
So another related point to that question was, so the thing is when we are mentioning a lot of things on our resume,
Uh-huh.
it makes our profile very specific to a certain roles, right? I mean, the set of roles that we can apply to that reduces. It might be the
But
same industry, but still we might be eligible for a certain small region of that industry. That's what the question was about.
yeah, but here's the thing. Whenever you go for an entry level job,
Hmm.
right? They say we are looking for a material engineer. Let's say I'm giving an example, or we are looking for an electronics engineer or a wireless communication engineer who work in this area. As an entry level job, the expectation is you know about that subject, okay, and you have the ability to solve a problem.
Mm,
But if you're going for a mid career, that's different. You understand my point? Like we had a lot of students who are fresh PhD. We are looking in general like how smart that person is, how what work he has done. He has done. Yeah, you always look for. Okay, we are looking for someone who has worked in the area of, let's say, energy storage, right? It's a huge field. We are not looking for someone who has developed a new material for lithium ion battery for cathode. No, we are not looking that.
right.
Maybe his PhD may be in that area. That's fine, but overall is that's how the entry level positions are.
I
You understand my point?
understand.
So
Yes.
yeah. So as I said again, um, I always think like PhDs are training. That's how I see it. How good your job you have done in that training, and you have learned things that next challenge you can take, because you can never find. You will never do the same thing in today's world. You will never do the same thing for more than 2 years. Once you go into industry, you will never do it. And if you're doing it, put it this way: if you're doing it, you're in a bad industry. You will be in trouble. You should be dynamic. You should be able to do things like tomorrow. If I say, hey, Biplo, can you design a wireless communication system? Like Nokia just got a big proposal, if you heard, in designing on Moon, right?
Yeah, 4G network on the moon.
Right. So here's the thing, right? So you have to understand, okay, what the moon environment is.
Yeah,
That's how I see that. That's how I
exactly.
see. I don't see that, okay, okay, this guy has done this in this area, or we don't have a job in this area. It doesn't work that way. It never works that way, to be honest with you.
Yes.
Never.
Exactly.
So I don't know who are those people who say that, to be honest with you. And trust me, lot of, I would say, Fortune 500 companies, if I put a number, or maybe a good startup companies, that's how they think.
Right. Right.
And that's where you want to work too,
Yeah.
right? And you will, as I said, your CV is fine. I think you are in the right direction. You should not have a trouble, to be honest with you.
It's
Yeah.
yeah. Go on.
But whenever you go for entry level job interviews, the other person is looking for how problem solving this person is.
Yeah.
I mean, I just interviewed a couple of people who have done internship in Tesla and all,
Yeah.
and
So
even
really,
worked at, yeah, I mean, they never talk about, oh, do you know this material? No, no, no. It's overall solving challenges. Can you think? Can you quickly think? How quickly you can think? How
yeah.
quickly you can change, all that. So, and I don't think I have any other question from you, but
Yeah.
but the only thing I would tell you at this point of time, the only good best thing that you can do at this point of time is either go for an internship, which let's say it's not allowed, that's fine, but make sure when you come out, have a strong publication record,
Yes.
because publication is the only thing that will be your strength as a PhD student.
Yeah.
There is nothing else, trust me, whether you're going to go for immigration or anything, because if you are trying to immigrate, and get a green card or anything, if you don't have publication, you will not get it. That is the only way you can get it. And um, you will realize when you're going to live in this country that immigration is one of the biggest hurdle that you have to go through. And as a PhD with a good publication, it's the only way to do it. So make sure you don't screw that up. Make sure you have a good citation. Focus there. Because, let me give you one example. As a student, I was like you, right? I came from India. I work as an international student and all that.
Right.
And I thought that I'm going to work in one of the best companies, like Lockheed or any companies. Like these are some of the dream companies that any student want to work, right? I can't because I'm an international student unless until I become a US citizen or immigration. I mean, that's the nature of the business, right? So how can I do that then? So, that means whatever I have to do to achieve that, let me achieve that. Then I know I'm good at it and I will get it. You
Right.
understand my point? This is the only way. There is no other way.
I agree.
And then only you are able to work on challenging problems.
Yes. 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 Right. Most of the good profiles are reserved for based on the nationalities of the people.
No, I mean, I'm just giving you an example.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that you can't, as an international student, you can't work for Apple. Or you can't work for Samsung, or you can't work for IBM. They do H-1B visas and all that. But eventually, you will find that ultimately you have to live here, right? So you have to apply for green card and all that. So having a good publication is the only way.
Right.
Yeah, there's no other way.
I see. Yeah. I agree to that. Yeah.
Yeah. So as I said, don't worry too much about what's going to happen. Worry about what is the right thing to do now. So you can make those points. Make sure I'm working hard. Make sure I'm keeping my up to date knowledge. Make sure what my end goal is, what I want to do. As you said, I want to go to job over there. So what I need to do that. So as I said, knowledge, publication, and all that. And sometimes you can also do that is go to Samsung career website or Apple career website, IBM career website, and look for the roles which you like. That's a very good exercise, to be honest. Let's say you find a role in Apple looking for iPhone wireless communication device, whatever, let's say, you know, and look at the job profile, what this says. It will tell you preferred qualification,
You want
desired qualification,
to
right?
right.
Where you stand there. Maybe 50% you are, 50% you're not. So work on that then. That's the easiest thing to do, right?
I see. Yes, yes, yes.
Right? It says a strong communication skill. I mean, trust me, one of the things that you can rise in industry if you're able to express yourself. If you think, I mean, many people, as a technical person, we always think, right? Oh, if I know everything, anybody will hire me. No, 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 no.
Yeah, communications is so important.
How people perceive you, and the only way people can know about you if you are able to tell them. If your knowledge is inside you, who cares? I mean, there are a lot of people who don't know any shit and they keep talking, right? And that's how it is. But they don't last too much. But if you're knowledgeable and if you're able to communicate, then you will rise far,
Very good combination.
right? So again, coming to the point, maybe that is the area you need to work on. Who knows? So okay, so what I need to do that, then I need to watch videos how to fix my problem, how to do that. If I'm too shy, that does not help. The shy people stay inside a lab and spend their whole life inside the lab and die inside the lab. If you want to that person, again, it's up to you. Understand my point? So
Yes, 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 yes.
so maybe that is the area you need. So look at it. What are those areas? So this is the time where you can fix those problems. There was a very good example. One of the professor was saying at one of the conferences that we had a Korean guy, and this is a very good example. He because in Korea when you come, you don't speak too much English, like unlike in India or any other country. And he by purposely stayed with a American roommate so that he can learn English. You understand? That's how far he went and he learned and he became so good and he learned books. He was saying he was excellent, and I think he's a professor in MIT now. I'm just
Wow.
giving you an example. This is what
He
it
did.
requires. Yeah. So then you can say, oh, he's become. No, no, no. Look at what he did.
Yes, yes.
I mean, a lot of students at the time probably having, and I'm not saying that you have to alienate your friends and all that. All I'm saying is, you can work on yourself,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever it takes you to do that. It doesn't mean you have to. I'm not suggesting you change your roommate. Don't get me wrong, but this
No,
is,
I understand.
yeah,
Find a gap in the skill set and work on it.
whatever it takes you to find to fill those gaps and make you better.
Right, right. And so I was also wanted to ask you, I saw your LinkedIn profile. I saw that you did a postdoctorate, I think, right, after your
Yeah.
PhD.
Mhm.
And after that, you came to the industry.
Mhm.
So what my perception was that people who go for postdoc, they do it because they are more inclined towards the academia.
Mhm. You're right.
Yeah. So for me, if
I was,
I,
I was, is the same for me at the time. But at the time, I think it was also because I would say till 5 years back, I was very convinced that I want to go to academia till 5 years actually.
okay,
Um, and that's the reason I did publication. If you look at, I kept publishing. I still publish now, even though it does not require, but I like it. But but I would definitely say that is not totally true, because what happens is, as a student,
uh-huh.
you say I want to do this, but when you get out, let's say when you were in India, right, you were like I want to go here, because that is the only information you have. But when you come out, you're like, okay, now I can do a lot of things.
Yes,
Same thing
yes.
happens to you in your career. Once you do your postdoc or something, you're like, dude, looks like I can do a lot of things, right? So I I am like a person who wants to explore. Maybe after, if you see me after 3 years, maybe I'm doing something else now.
Mm,
And again, it's totally up to me, right? Totally my personality, how I'm seeing it, and also what are the opportunities that are after me at that time. So what happens when I finished my PhD? I didn't had any jobs. I had one interview, and then I got postdoc at Hopkins, and I thought that's the best thing, so I took it. And I took it not because I had nothing else to do. The biggest reason was I was thrilled about it. I was like, this is the best thing, because talking to the professor and everything, I think that's the best thing. And also that allowed me to, um, you know, He said, you have to go to Japan and do that. I was so excited that I have to travel now. So, I was in Japan working in the university for 3 months every year. As I said, that was also out of interest at that time. And then, then I went Oak Ridge, and then I was working with Rolls-Royce on this proposal. And then I got a job in Rolls-Royce. So, things moved out.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what made you decide between academia and staying in academia and then moving the full-time switch to industry?
Happiness is opportunity, right? So at this point of time of my career, I can't accept assistant professor job in any university. So I'm now evaluating, okay, could you do give me this versus I have already this,
Yes.
understand? So
Yeah.
it's again, it's all about that. And also, am I bored what I'm doing? No, I love what I'm doing. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. Working with a lot of professors all over the world. I'm funding them. I'm doing all my work. I enjoy that. So suddenly I started enjoying that more. You understand my point?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I have a lot of friends from my college who are professors here now, and I work with them all the time. So and they give me their feedback how not they are enjoying their job or how enjoying their job. So that's also a feedback, right? Again, it's not
Right.
just
Right.
yeah. So as I said, there's no ifs and but. It's all about where you are at that point of time and what opportunities do you get. Also, then you make a decision. uh, if
Yes.
I was given a job, so let's say if I get assistant professor in very good university in US right now, I would be reluctant, but maybe I was a postdoc, I would have taken it, right? So it all depends on opportunities, and also, am I not enjoying what I'm doing?
Mm.
That also plays a role. How much money you are going to give me?
Yeah.
But
Right.
then a lot of people, you will find once that their decision are also based on their personal life too,
Yes.
their
Yes.
family and all that. Right now you are not constrained, but you will find that all plays a much bigger role. Not many
Definitely.
people
Yes.
right,
Yes.
not many people are able to do things because of personal reasons, so family reasons and all that. So that's also plays a role later on in your life.
Yes. Yes. Right.
But as I said, there is no if and but. What happens is all subjective. It's like it's all not subject. It's like if you ask, if I give you my answer, the other person will give you a totally different answer. So I don't think you can choose that answer and say, okay, I will do that because this was told to me. It will depend on your position at that time. And
Yeah.
trust me, everybody has his own story. Everybody, you can, I would say, all you can take uh, from this discussion is the information, and choose as that as an information to make yours what is
Yeah.
best for you, right?
Yes. Right.
That's all. Because trust me, nobody has, no two brothers will even have the same path, same story.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
It all depends on the
But
person and the situation and everything.
right, but all you can do is have the right information and then make a best decision.
Yes. Right. Right.
Yeah, and a lot of time, for example, sometimes people have this information like why this is happening to me. I have realized after I talk to them, they realize, no, this is very common. Because now I'm in position where I speak to so many students. I have so much information that I can tell you that this is what you are saying is not unusual. That happens to everyone,
Agree. Right.
right? So, but I think you are at right path. As I said, if I was you at this point of time, all I will be focused on working and finding gaps
Good
within
public
myself.
speaking.
Yeah,
Yes.
good public. As I said, it's not only about technical. It's
Yeah.
also about finding the right information and doing the right thing. Fill your gaps. It could be your personality. It could be anything. But I can tell you
Right.
for sure, if you want to rise up and high, you have to be outgoing. You have to be a leader.
Yeah, that's something that's I realized that's one of the issues I definitely need to work on a lot.
Yeah, so work on it. You have so much time, and that's a good thing. I mean, a lot of students realize this after they graduate. I'm like, what to do? I'm like, I don't know,
Mm.
right? So, and I said you would be fine. I think I don't see as a trouble. I don't think your ambitions are too.